Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's tournament. Is the UMG Online $200 minimum 4v4 variant, of course, taking place here on March 29th. It's myself, Lando Sanders, live here in studio, of course, for this evening. I'm going to be doing the commentating for you guys, as it should be an interesting one to say the least. Our 4v4 variant kicking things off here in round number 1 between the side of JFFJ and Hydra Gaming. So for those who have maybe watched some of our prior tournaments, especially last week's tournament, we actually have a return of Hydra Gaming, but in some cases a roster change has actually been made with this group. Previously consisting of Neonn, KiSMET, Zinx, and Rain, they've now substituted in Neonn in place of Neonn, and you wonder where is Neonn now? Well, funny enough, he's actually on the other team. So he's actually facing off against his old squad, and the exact team that he was facing off against, or facing together with, rather, just last week. So there's obviously been a roster change made here for this Hydra Gaming roster, previously known under the name of Enterprise. It looks like a streak's already starting to come from above. Can we talk about this 8 streak already for HumanJesus, lighting things up already, and definitely putting his footprint on this map, as it has been a 45-3 massive score differential, and the reason why is because of this man himself. HumanJesus is going off right now, starting this game on a 9 streak, about to make it 10. KiSMET, where you at, my friend? HumanJesus is already kills and kills above you, and we'll see how long you can actually hold on to this streak for. So ends at 10 kills in a row. That's massively impressive, especially a phenomenal way to start off a match as well as a tournament. 63-11, like I said, off the back of an incredible performance coming in from JFFJ, kind of keeping on the board of the fact that we talked about Hydra. This was a roster previously known under Enterprise. This was a team who had a very, very solid placement at CWL Atlanta. It has kind of been their, kind of forthcoming, kind of keeping in mind rosters like that who played very, very well. And looking on here, it looks like we could be spotting out the rotation coming toward Bunker. It looks like not a whole lot is going to be accomplished, but shots coming in from Neonn as he and the rest of the squad now making their way in toward Bunker. And we talk about Ardent Forest. Bunker can definitely be considered the Money Hill Rain. A nice little flick shot there onto Neonn. A little bit of a backlash, and actually takes him down yet again off that spawn inside of you. Knows exactly where he's sitting, and he's going to go on a full flank. Knows exactly where the enemy's going to be coming from. But look at this, though. Not a whole lot of teammate support. So while this flank is nice, not a whole lot is being accomplished. If anything, he's kind of assisting the enemy and getting inside of that hard point. But at least he has some streaks to call from it, as he's now on a 5 spree in total. Only a few kills away, or 200 points rather, away from that artillery barrage. It looks like the last few seconds begin to tick away inside of Bunker. Century mark has been reached from the side of JFFJ, but now East Road is coming up, and it looks like the artillery barrage is out to play. Got to imagine that one most likely coming in from, I believe, HumanJesus, unless someone else happened to go on a random streak. But we talked about the guys from Hydra, right? Very solid team. Recently make a roster change. I know they were not at all happy with their performance when it came down to last week's $200 minimum 4v4 variant. Had a little bit of a kind of shaky ending to their tournament run, and got a few tweets and kind of going back and forth with some of the players, and they just weren't happy with their placement whatsoever. They wanted to play better, and they really wanted to show their skills, and it seems that maybe a roster change was kind of set for this team. You know, at times you have to kind of substitute someone in just to kind of get things to feel better, but you also have to be worrisome a little bit at the time, where a roster change can kind of act as, kind of like a game of Jenga, right? You take out one piece, you don't really realize it at the time, but is the, breaking ground. It is the overall base of the team. And so when you release certain players, at times it can kind of start to set the roster on an awkward journey, but it seems like for now they didn't have the greatest of starts. Of course, what was it, a 45-3 disadvantage off the break where HumanJesus was absolutely destroying, which he's still playing very, very well. It's now coming in with about 20 seconds of one another. HumanJesus, like I said, still playing very, very well, but he, alongside of himself, is playing with Equuip, Skilliosis, and Neonn. Very solid players in their own regard. I've been able to cast over each one of these guys numerous times so far throughout World War II. And one guy that definitely has kind of stuck out to me so far throughout this season has been Skilliosis. Skilliosis, to me, has been one of my kind of guys that I've been looking out for quite a bit. Very talented when it comes to the search and destroy game. It's what he's known for, but he's been taking it into the respawns and has been performing very, very well. I believe he actually played on GGEA Blue for a short time. Had quite a bit of success with that roster and ended up leaving the team. Later joins alongside of, I think it was Team War, and then later joins out with Mako Gaming, and now I'm not really sure what's kind of the up and up, if this is like an official team of HumanJesus, Equuip, Skilliosis, and Neonn, or what the case may be. Maybe it's just a group of guys who just want to kind of play together for tonight's tournament, which is, you know, very common, but still. When you get guys of this caliber playing with one another, it could be expected, hey, maybe something could be in the mix-up, potentially. I believe all four of these guys, if you take out Skilliosis, do not have an official organization. So something could be brewing. But speaking on Skilliosis, of course, we talk about Neonn, his previous team. This is going to play pretty huge. I mean, you know the strategy. You know what the enemy team wants to do. So I think it's such an awesome match that we got to get here for our first game, is to watch Neonn versus his previous roster. Was he the, you know, difference maker? Was he the guy who was kind of at times lacking when he really shouldn't have been? And he's going to be kind of taking this series to heart, it's fair to say, and hoping that he can especially get this win over his prior roster. But when you talk about the guys from Hydra as well, very solid performers. You see Zinx 20-15, KiSMET 24-16. Quite a few of these guys I've seen in the past are known for their search and destroy game, but they've been really struggling as a roster when it comes down to that game mode. That was a pretty big difference maker when it came down to a lot of their elimination matches. We're losing search and destroys. They were kind of talking about that in their communication last week, saying that, hey, if we can work on our search and destroys, we should be set a lot better. And Skilliosis got to hit your shots, my friend. Zinx is going to be hitting all of them with the bar, as he just does end up falling. About to be a tie game, as it looks like the comeback has been made here for Hydra. Looks like a little bit of a lead change there as well. Smoke's tossed out to try to keep the man inside of the hill free. And it looks like Zinx will be holding on to that as such, but looking out, like I said, a lot of rivalries going back between both of these teams, especially mixed up with the players. But to take a look right now at KiSMET's overall performance, 27-18. Having a great match and wants to continue with that. Definitely a major difference maker. Maybe even the X Factor is the reason why this comeback is a likely one. And it looks like as each road starts to tick away, Fighter Pilot comes through. Doesn't really accomplish too much, but 3 kills go down. The pistol out, the PO8 going to work. Not Duelist this time. Zinx is able to get it done by its lonesome, but also shuts down Equuip. 3 streak right now for this man. Zinx wants to find the 4th. KiSMET's there for the assistance. And while that's all taking place, still it's seconds going the way of HumanJesus and Co. From the side of JFFJ. Equuip is there for the ending team kill, or the ending team trade rather. As it looks like these smokes are yet again still being tossed out. You see them kind of being focused toward that backstacks area of cabin, trying to limit the vision for what could be the next hard point, or what will be the next hard point inside a cave. And we've seen a lot more teams as far as how World War II has kind of progressed, tossing out those smokes as the game does continue. You also see in front of Zinx's perspective there another smoke behind him, a smoke that was just kind of in front of him where HumanJesus and Skilliosis are coming from. And I've actually been able to see that, like I said, a lot of teams start to use it in a hard point more recently, because of course nades are very important. Those have kind of been talked about, whether they should be gentlemen's agreements and so on and so forth. So you're starting to see a lot more teams kind of focus toward the tacticals, kind of focus toward the stuns, focus toward the nades, or excuse me, the smokes, the gas grenades, whatever it really may be. And it seems to be really working out for a lot of squads. I mean, limiting the vision on Iron Forest, especially in this particular hardpoint. You've got 2 main sight lines. If one of those is blocked, you have to kind of make the rush forward, because you're going to start to struggle because you just don't have that vision, which is so important in this game. Zinx is on a tear right now, 32-20. His shot is absolutely warmed up, shuts down 1, and cannot find the 2nd, entering in toward the hill. That's going to be Neonn, who thankfully can wipe a little bit of sweat off of his brow as keeping the game alive as the fights start to go down here toward this next rotation. Looks like Rain has just missed 1 player. He's snuck behind enemy lines, but he's got a fist ready to go just in the jaw of HumanJesus. Having a solid game still is HumanJesus. Slowed down a little bit, but take a look at that hardpoint time. 1:59, nearly 2 minutes inside of the hardpoint. Rotation going to be big, and it looks like these cleanup kills are going to be massive right now. Equuip ends up dropping, and now Skilliosis has to make a rush. He needs to find at least something, trying to pick up the pieces. Shuts down Rain, and also will drop Neonn rather, for his troubles. Back and forth we go. Who can get their revenge on the other? Will it be the squad of Hydra, showing that potentially Neonn was the difference maker, or was he really the problem, essentially, with the reason why they couldn't maybe close out certain maps? Or can Neonn get his revenge? It looks like starting to come up close. Nate tosses that one over toward Neonn. Nearly shuts down Rain. Can't find the kill with only 3 seconds lingering. Who can be there for the stoppage? Who can be there for the trade? And it looks like it will be Skilliosis, realizing how important that rotation is, but no one is going to be there in time. The rotation toward bunker is set in, and it will be a map 1 victory here toward the side of Hydra. A big comeback being made, especially after the first hill and a half. It seemed to be all but lost. And talk about a turnaround from the guys on Hydra as they close out this map number 1, 250 to 200. Solid stuff coming in from those guys as well, and you can start to kind of see from time to time just the amount of, the ability to kind of turn on the communication. Turn on, it's okay, hey guys, we're starting off a little bit slow. Let's go and kind of catch our rhythm. Let's slow down. So that kind of vocal leadership needs to be coming in from someone. But go and take a look at that scorecard. 37 and 24, along with 1 minute and 23 seconds inside of the hill. There for Zinx, along with 35 kills and 30 deaths, or 0 and 54 seconds inside of the hard point there from KiSMET as well. Let's go and take a look at our box score. As far as the hard points, we're considered to see exactly where this game kind of broke down. It looks like as far as K was considered, is a pretty dominant hold coming in from the guys on JFFJ, holding that one 83 to 46. It's a pretty big difference maker when it comes down to a kind of spotty hill like Cave. Not going to see a whole lot of time really go the way that often, but as far as Ruins was considered, still an even kind of performance, but still going the way of JFFJ, 71 to 59. Take a look, though, at these next 2 hard points inside of Bunker and inside of East Road. The rotation from Bunker obviously is very important. Everyone realizes that, right? The ability to rotate toward Bunker, it's the money hill of this map. Everybody's going to be aware of that. You see Hydra Gaming kind of setting up, and even toward the ending of that first map, or the ending of the first game, rather, the ability for them to make that rotation toward Bunker about 3 or 4 seconds away. They realize the situation at hand. We can absolutely close it down here, and that's what they do. Only 21 seconds out of JFFJ. Definitely a massive factor is the reason why their game started to slow down. And could start to see as well how it was a little bit spotty from time to time. We also take a look at East Road, right? 61 to 25, a huge difference maker on this hard point as well. You see the rotations from Bunker to East Road for Hydra were absolutely phenomenal. They got majority of that time, and when you're only getting like maybe 46 seconds, total from Bunker and East Road collectively, the other squad who obviously does that is going to struggle. So with that in mind, though, looking now at map number 2, we'll be search and destroy on USS Texas. I think really if you're Hydra's position, if you're in their squad, if you're in their shoes, right, this has been a game mode where they have said, we struggle in this. Last week, it was a major reason why they ended up losing the way that they did. I think they ended up getting taken down like 6-1, maybe versus Team War, if my mind serves me correct. Could be wrong. Pretty sure that's right, though. I wish I had my notes, actually. If I had my notes, everything would be a lot easier. I actually forgot my notebook this week, and you know what? It's absolutely my fault. I definitely take note for that. Actually, I'm writing my notes on the back of a Five Guys menu, so you know how things are obviously going for me tonight. But still, though, Hydra, they're not known for their search and destroy. At least they haven't been. Maybe the addition, though, of Neonn in case of Neo, that can be kind of confusing, can maybe bring out their search and destroy gameplay. Maybe that bringing on a player like this can kind of change that overall morale. When it comes to the USS Texas, it could be a little bit of a difference maker. I think when you're a team who struggles in search and destroy, a majority of the time you're like, okay, cool, we got USS Texas at least. Like to a general, kind of group. Of course, you talk about play styles. That obviously comes into play. But generally, if I'm, a non-talented search and destroy team, I'm kind of okay with USS Texas. As long as we have like a good sniper player, we got smokes. We obviously saw a lot of smokes kind of get utilized in that first map. Can absolutely see those get brought out when it comes in USS Texas for bomb plants, trying to limit the vision from the other squads as well. As far as difference makers from JFFJ, I really think they have this map 2 in the bag. I think they close this one out like 6-2, 6-3. I think they're going to win this one in a pretty dominant fashion. You've got a really good SMG player in Skilliosis. I know HumanJesus from time to time can also rock out that sniper rifle. He has been very consistent so far throughout World War II. Have had him really seen him have a very strong performance coming from jetpacks now into the boots and the ground titles. And if we know anything about Equuip, also very known search and destroy player in the scene as well. So these guys, at least on paper, on this paper at least, are looking very, very good to take this map number 2. And of course, feel free to put your guys' predictions in the chat below, whether or not. Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, strap in, fasten your seatbelt. It's map 2, USS Texas. Should be An interesting one to say the least. Of course, we've got JFFJ going up against Hydra. It was Hydra who took map number 1 Unarmed Forest 250 to 200, and now looking for some search and destroy. This is definitely where we should see JFFJ kind of get back into their element, hopefully trying to get a CTF map 3 played. But looking on here, offense off the break. It looks like it was Equuip who dropped for the first blood, but quickly a response coming forward as Rain and Neonn start to fall by the wayside. It looks like Neonn and Skilliosis. The rush coming in from Skill. See if he can actually take out KiSMET, who actually does have that sniper rifle in the back lines. Unfortunately has the weapon swap to not take down HumanJesus. So 2 versus 2. Neonn spotted in the back lines, and that's the perfect weapon that would have been nice to have in the initial gunfight, but the overtake being made. HumanJesus, along with the nice nade, also takes down Zinx as well. And now KiSMET all by his lonesome. Up close and personal fight, getting tagged from multiple perspectives, only with a pole for the time for cover. 1v2, KiSMET, not a whole lot of time left, and no matter what happens in this round, whether or not he can find the kills, it will be a round granted toward the boys on JFFJ. And props to them, right? They start off this round with kind of dropping a first-blooded player, still kind of find the second and third frag, are able to get the bomb down and work it to their advantage. It looks like, unfortunately for KiSMET, he actually dies to the bomb here. Yeah, he actually does. So literally, like, the explosives, when we talk about bomb plants, usually don't affect players too much, but I believe that actually grants HumanJesus a little bit more toward his score. Probably would have taken him out anyway, but still off to a nice little 2-0 beginning. Him and Skilliosis, a collective ace. Doesn't really count, but you know what I mean. It still works. But looking on here with the offensive teams, looks like KiSMET, despite being on offense, is going to be rocking out that sniper, which isn't too uncommon, but definitely can be an unnoticed strategy from time to time. You see Neo, though, making the early rotation. A nice shot. Not sure how he found the head, but it works out perfectly there for KiSMET. But despite that, though, his teammates are starting to fall in quick succession. Rain have to get out of there, man. It looks like KiSMET, watching over his squad mate, is starting off this map pretty well, as he only needs 2 more. A lot easier said than done, though. Rain getting the bomb planted. Successful on that site, but it looks like it's going to need to be an ace from KiSMET. Spots HumanJesus just from the side of his perspective and has got to know at least that a rush is happening. It's occurring. Are you ready for it, though? And he is not. Equuip gonna let him know a few shots in the body, as that's not appropriate for the Twitch channel here. Can't show that. Yeah, we can't look at that. Apologies if your kids are watching the stream right now. Make sure their eyes are focused away. We apologize for that. But speaking of apologies, none given from JFFJ. Along with that, streaks are actually earned after just 2 rounds of play from HumanJesus. Who else, right? HumanJesus started off map number 1 on Unarmed Forest, 10-0. Believe it or not, 10-0 on a hard point. And definitely was the reason why his team was off to a hot start. Granted, they couldn't really catch themselves toward the kind of mid to late part of the match, but are trying to count their losses and trying to, like I said, force that CTF. This is where they are probably feeling a lot more confident, and they're definitely showing suit, as it looks like a first blood found here for round 3. Skilliosis, though, quickly met with the lucky shots from KiSMET. Get it? All right. No one's going to get that, probably. But still, bomb plant going down here from HumanJesus, and looks at KiSMET. Could spot the feet, but takes out Equuip for his troubles. Realize the bomb just gets planted, and HumanJesus might have escaped with a miracle, but it looks like shots coming in. KiSMET will find another, and now it's Neonn. 1 versus 2 has the bomb at least to bounce off of, as the objective has exactly what the enemy wants, but will he let it go? Tosses out the nade, and looks like the nade will actually take down KiSMET. Neonn could actually do this. Neonn versus Neonn, the player trade. Who deserves it more? Who can grab it? It's Neonn who has to make the rush, and Neonn will go for the dolphin dive to try and stay alive. And Neonn's not going to have enough time to go for the defuse. Does he actually? I don't think he has it, and he does not think he does either. Very, very close. A matter of seconds that go down. Despite the kill coming in from Neonn, it will be a 3rd round here for the boys on JFFJ. Coming down to the wire. Are some of these rounds. And now looking out, right, if you're the guys on Hydra. I don't want to say this isn't expected, to say the least. It's like I said, especially from their recent Search and Destroy games. But got to be playing better. You need to grab around here. A loss of momentum heading into a CTF can be very, very dire, and it looks like a stun off the start is going to cause some problems. And along with that, speaking of problems, Zinx shuts down 2, but it's HumanJesus who has streaks in his back pocket. I want to say it's probably not the best of situations to use them now. Wants to find a kill at the very least in order to use these. And Neonn, or excuse me, Neonn actually, nearly takes out 1. HumanJesus, with a little bit of the shaky shots, does take down 1 on those stairs. So 1 versus 3. He's done just about everything, it's fair to say, for his squad up to this point. Could maybe finish off the search and destroy, and if we do see a CTF with 0 kills, then he would still have a quite a big contribution. But looking on here, 1v3, 15 seconds left. This is going to be a round over toward Hydra, and this is exactly what this squad needs. Right, let's actually see the streak build up, as it looks like Neonn and KiSMET are now left up in a 2v1. KiSMET will be able to find it. That's what you need, right? 3-round loss. I mean, 3-1 to 4-0 is such a huge difference, really, when it comes down to search and destroy. Of course, it being the first to 6, but generally from a player's point of view, staring at that scorecard round by round by round, realizing that, hey, we are down by this many rounds, it's going to take this much to kind of bring it back. It's going to be kind of an unfortunate situation, unfortunate circumstance, and you aren't really going to be catching a whole lot of momentum from a scoreboard of that nature. But take a look here, though. Rain and Neonn definitely struggling for the moment. I mean, Neonn's only gotten 3 engagements, but collectively 1 and 6 for him and Rain. Definitely not having performance they'd like to replicate anytime soon, but HumanJesus and co. back on offense, still yet to use the streaks, and I got to give massive props. I mean, they have been holding on to these very well. A lot of teams might have already wasted all 3 of these just to make sure they could secure some rounds back-to-back, but being patient, will it pay off? Right now, if you're Hydra, you got to play better. And it looks like Neonn on the back lines, watching for anyone who could be trying to make a flank through that side ship. It looks like a collective unit of players from Hydra just trying to swarm around this bomb site. If they had a smoke, now would be the perfect time to use it. Skilliosis needs to jump up. Can he find the player in time? And it looks like he will. Just in the nick of time, Skilliosis absolutely explodes for 3 kills in a row. His teammate will find the 4th. But that was about, what, maybe a half a second before the defuse comes in. And Skilliosis is like, hey, I got something better. I got 2 more kills just to top it off. Huge play coming in from the boys on JFFJ, as succeeding on offense by the skin of their teeth, but they're still doing it. As take a look at that scorecard now for Skilliosis, man. 7 and 4 now for him, as he has just rocketed himself to the top of the scoreboard, tying the overall kill amount with KiSMET on the other team. It looks like a Dolphin has been spotted toward the deck. Prior teammate Neonn. Hello, Neonn. How you doing, man? Probably exchanging hellos. And nearly spots the head of Rain. Like I said, when it comes to the search and destroy, you got to imagine a 4-1 advantage right now. Neonn 2 and 3. Maybe the lack of engagements is him maybe sitting in the back of the map, allowing his maybe new roster, or at least his roster for tonight, to know the strategies, right? Because when you've got a guy who's been playing for you for as long as he did, playing with you through Atlanta, playing with you through LAN tournaments as well as online tournaments, he's going to know what your goal is in search and destroy. So if you're Hydra, you're kind of coming into this match without question at a disadvantage. And so with that, 5 rounds to 1. I talked about, I thought it would be like a 6-2 to 6-3. Could we even see a 6-1 from JFFJ? Definitely possible. And HumanJesus still yet to use the streaks. Does not want to let this game go away. And just maybe even showing their overall dominance, saying that, hey, this one could be definitely over. And I didn't even have to use my streaks. We literally won in a 6-1 fashion and didn't even have to use the streaks. Succeeding on offense, though, has been the name of the game so far for JFFJ. Finding kills in quick succession is Skilliosis off the break. Zinx trying to silence things, but quickly finding himself in a 1 versus 3. Where are my teammates? And what just happened in this map 2? As it looks like Hydra only going to grab 1 round in this S&D. And Neonn there to top it off. Wow. What a game. Neonn in proper fashion, shutting down his old teammate of Zinx. 6-1, though, on USS Texas means that we are granted a Map 3 CTF, which is exactly what I think is a great way to start off tonight's tournament, seeing Map 3 CTF. That one, though, going to be on Flag Tower. But it looks like we can go and take a look quickly at our scoreboard. It looks like as far as top fraggers toward the side of JFFJ, it was Skilliosis 9-4, HumanJesus 7-4, and from the side of Hydra, it was KiSMET who finished off 7-6, and Rain who ended up having an 0-7 performance. Unfortunately, still though, grabbed the 2 bomb plants, which you got to add that in when it comes down to the match. Looking on though, you can kind of see the overall difference maker when it came down to this match as we take a look here at our USS Texas Search and Destroy scoreboard. Of course, for those who maybe are new to the broadcast, bottom left is the key to kind of see exactly how these rounds kind of took place. The skulls obviously indicate an enemy team was overall eliminated. The kind of bomb clippers there are the bomb being defused. The bomb explosion obviously means bomb was destroyed. And the stopwatch, a.k.a. means that the time limit has or was reached. It looks like, of course, per usual, quite a few of these rounds coming down to kills, but you also talk about the bomb actually being destroyed along with defused in the first 3 rounds, indicating a lot of the offensive plays coming in from JFFJ, or even the defuses as well. Their offense and defense coming toward the late game, they were there to clutch it out quite a bit of the time. And on USS Texas, we were talking about quite a bit of the time as well for the guys on JFFJ, were their offensive pushes on USS Texas, how well they were playing with the smokes, and how easy it was for them to really get the bomb down. And I think if you're, like I said, on the side of JFFJ, if you got Neonn, basically a kind of a free, strategy giver essentially, he's going to be telling you exactly what the enemy is going to be thinking. He knows exactly what their strategies are coming into a USS Texas. He knows maybe what bomb sites they prefer, what bomb sites they aren't good at defending, and maybe that kind of came into play. Kind of a free analyst added to their roster in the form of Neonn, who obviously, like I said, was a previous player for the Hydra roster and actually played in last week's tournament with them in the $200 minimum, of course, for, what was that, March 22nd, I think? Yeah, March 22nd. So, yeah, but looking on here for some Flag Tower CTF, if I'm on the side of JFFJ, I'm really looking at my man Skilliosis, and I'm looking at HumanJesus. HumanJesus has had a phenomenal series, has had a phenomenal last 2 maps. I think on CTF he's going to be playing very influential. When you talk about JFFJ as well, you talk about the kind of quick SMG presence up in your face. That's exactly what Skilliosis, to me, can really succeed with. I think he's going to have a pretty solid game when it comes into the CTF as well. But when you got a roster like Hydra, right, 3/4 of this team has been playing with one another for a while. You talk about the chemistry, the overall communication that you get from being with a roster for that long. Absolutely caters in toward a CTF game, maybe even arguably more than the other 2 game modes. I think it's fair to say. Hardpoint and Search and Destroy are a combination of this game mode. You talk about the respawn ability, kind of like Hardpoint, and the collective quick deaths, or I don't want to say quick deaths, but the respawns of Search and Destroy, the respawn time, the kind of slow, methodical play that you need in S&D as well. But speaking of methodical play, KiSMET off the break within the first 15 seconds is already in the back of the enemy's base, saying hello to his first kill. And it looks like player number 5, though, in the back lines is going to be Skill. Successfully will find those 2 and has a few extra shots to say about it. Takes down the early offense, but take a look at this, though. Yet again, Rain on the back lines. And if they can continue to do this, I mean, it's the first 40 seconds, and 2 times the flag has been grabbed off the back of enemy lines, or maybe even certain cuts not being watched. Early signs definitely showing a advantage toward the side of Hydra. Whether or not you can argue that they can kind of hang when it comes down to the slang, or even in these more methodical game modes, they have the communication. They know what to watch. They know who's watching what at all times for the most part. If Neonn can kind of fit into this role that Neonn previously was, they can have themselves a game. But Skilliosis, though, already earning streaks off to a 6-0 start, and is going to go ahead and call in that firepower. The perfect streak to rock at the time, taking players off of spawn. Looks like he does find 2, 3 collectively in total. Skilliosis will drop, but to no avail. His teammate Equuip is there for the flag grab. Looks like Neonn off of that respawn can't find the flag carrier. And it looks like Equuip is off to the races. Rain, though, just off behind him, has to try to go for the rush, and can he find the kill? Waiting for his teammate support to try to grab along with him. Kill going down. It looks like Rain will find it in the end, but it looks like a return is not there. Unless KiSMET has anything to say about it, we'll go for the dolphin dive, and a fantastic play coming in from Hydra. The big rush and the big overall team engagement that happens inside a radio could turn a defensive play now into an offensive one. The streak coming forward, and Zinx is not smart when it comes to testing it. It looks like play number 6, though, is going to be here. Neonn ends up dropping, and just like that, flag gets returned, and we are back to the flags being in the opposing bases. It looks like our artillery barrage is placed at the base already of Hydra. Unbelievable stuff, man. We were just seeing back and forth gameplay, but you got to talk about the streak usage. The ability that you challenge that streak is just kind of insane. It's kind of insane. Regardless, though, streak comes forward, and it will go through for the boys on Hydra. 1-0 rather advantage, as Neonn actually kind of assists the enemy team in that situation. Shoots Zinx, or actually it was KiSMET, in the head, and kind of makes things a little bit awkward. But stun tossed out, going to affect Zinx. But still, Rain is here. Shots coming forward on HumanJesus, along with the nice little dolphin dive. Or actually, rather, that was a drop shot. Ends up taking down 2, takes down 3. He will fall, but granted, will earn some streaks in the end. So a worthy transaction, to say the least. But still, 1:40 on the clock in this first half of 5 minutes before we do rotate sides. Skilliosis, like we said, had a phenomenal start to this game. All streaks have been used, and no flags have been grabbed from it. However, though, you take a look at his teammate, HumanJesus. He's got a fighter pilot and a glide bomb to use. Of course, for those who are new, you can see that in the bottom right of his screen. It looks like along with that, a fighter pilot gets rocked as well along with it. And at the same time, HumanJesus ends up following Neonn and co, trying to make their way and progress themselves up through the map. Rain, the last line of defense to try to shut this down, will be able to put a little bit of a dent in that setup. But now it's all about the rush coming in from the red side, of course, which is JFFJ. HumanJesus ready to call in that fighter pilot. We'll see if he can get anything done with this. Ends up dropping 1, knows where KiSMET is. And it looks like as that one gets called through, he actually dies while calling in that streak. Looks like Neonn trying to stop this push, finds one, and also finds the second. Big play coming in from Neonn, as it looks like on the opposite end, though, the flag has been grabbed. Skilliosis has got it in his possession, and we'll see if he can progress himself inside of Radio Room. Has got that one forward, and it looks like he will be able to score this along with a dolphin dive. Yes, that one is going to be good, and just like that, a flag responded. Coming in here from JFFJ, a buzzer beater. Dolphin dive flag capture that will make us even heading in toward our second half, but maybe Neonn could get his hands on that flag quickly. Tries to go for a dolphin dive, but can't get it in time. Big plays coming in from JFFJ toward the end of that half. And let's talk about this play from Neonn, though. I mean, just one of the many plays that go down. Of course, funny enough, on Neonn as well. But one of the many big plays that kind of set our tone for this first half. Of course, loading up another 5 minutes, as we'll now look on with KiSMET. See what he can try to do here. Only sitting at 12-9. Looks like off the break, making his way toward a lookout. Trying to spot Equuip, who actually just jumps off of his head glitch. So 2 go down quickly, though. Skilliosis does provide a little bit of a dent in the setup, but Neonn, though, has made his way behind enemy lines and at least shuts down one for his troubles. Tries to take out Neonn, but not going to work. So play number 8, play number 7, both off the respawn. Equuip cannot stay alive for much longer, so HumanJesus and co are going to have to play solid defense to try to keep this flag in their base. Thankfully, support is coming quick, and it's coming soon in the form of their team's respawn. Looks like one nearly drops. Rain. Close gunfight there, but Neonn is getting it done regardless. 2 in a row, and it looks like the defense will be taken down, but not if KiSMET has anything to say about it. Is going to spot one and Equuip, and they're not going to have any idea that he's here, because Equuip is the one man who's watching this side of the map. So as that flag gets grabbed, you start to see maybe a little bit of a turn of head from Equuip and co. from the side of JFFJ, wondering where exactly they could be, but Equuip has actually made his way behind enemy lines as well. Do they know he's here? Is the player counting worked out in their favor? He can see the flag. Can he find the kill, though? And no, not able to happen. A big 1v1 that will go the way of Hydra. KiSMET got it done by himself, but it looks like Skilliosis now on the opposite end has got the flag for his team. Zinx is there to cut him down as well, so back and forth we go. It will be an advantage toward the side of Hydra, but a nice little side angle grab there from Rain. Quickly traded. And Neonn is there as well. It looks like, yet again, Hydra doing a great job at finding kills in quick succession and consistently making the boys from JFFJ have to be very wary of their base. It started off the first, the first 40 seconds, rather. There was 2 players in the back of the base making their way behind enemy lines for Hydra. And so if you're JFFJ right now, you're kind of counting players maybe a little bit more, maybe not feeling as confident in your teammates, their ability to watch all their backsides, to watch their flanks. Sneaky Beavers is what Hydra is currently, and it looks like Zinx in a pretty nice spot right now. You see how close he is to Equuip just on the other side of that wall, but here comes the rush from the boys on JFFJ, putting a lot into this one. 3 players make it 4 from different angles, all making their presence felt when it comes down to that flag in the base, but it looks like Rain comes through with 2 big kills with the frag. And just like that, the flag is back home safely. And 2-minute warning for JFFJ. Backs against the wall currently. And it looks like the defense is actually turning now yet again into more offense. Neonn making his way toward medical room, has the ability to maybe try to go for a flag grab. Gets spotted up from one angle and cannot do much more than that, but still did a decent job trying to keep the enemy in their base, which will now allow Zinx and Co to try to make something happen. But just like that, KiSMET lasts alive, 4 go down, and so off of that play, it will be a full 4-man rush coming in from JFFJ. Do they have any streaks to work with? It looks like they do not, so all about the gun skill. Can they get the trades in their favor? Players in the back of the base, though, are spawning up. KiSMET is one of them. Can Neonn escape from this position? Rain in his way, and no, he's not going to be able to stay alive, and that is why teams do not like playing on CTF Flag Tower. The ability to spawn in the back of your base, even while team fights are happening feet away. Spawns can still happen just in the back of that base. You literally have to get a clean 4 down or have to take down 3 or 4 players kind of in different waves. It's like a matter of taking them down 3 different times is what you have to do to try to get a flag out. But speaking of that, KiSMET from one side, HumanJesus from the other. It looks like the flag will be returned there coming in from Zinx, and just like that, KiSMET could put the nail in the coffin. Can he solidify this match? Can he solidify this series? It's going to be up to Skilliosis trying to go for the rush, but he doesn't know where they are. He's just behind them, and he actually loses his position and can't find the kills. He had the ability to take down KiSMET, but I believe he rotated around, tried to find them on the flank. And when it comes into CTF, for those who play this game mode, as it looks like we might see a little bit of a rage quit coming in from the host, when you're talking about that little bit of a respawn delay or the delay from the flag carrier, that can occur on the minimap. So I believe that's what happens in that play from Skilliosis. Thinks that he has the advantage coming on the flank, but in reality, it's not the case. The flag has already been moved, and it looks like it will be a victory in the end. 3-1 is what, of course, we get to witness. I believe the host did rage quit that. Yeah, so the host does leave that game. But in the end, though, it's a victory for the boys on Hydra. They closed this one out, and I was kind of very worried about them coming in toward this CTF. Unfortunately, aren't able to really take a look at the scoreboard toward the end of this match to see maybe where the outliers kind of came from. But I know for JFFJ, HumanJesus was having a pretty good moments from time to time. Skilliosis obviously had a very hot start to the first half of CTF as well, playing very strong. But generally, it came down to Hydra's overall sneaky play, right? I mean, of course, we had different moments, really big gunfights that obviously went the way, preferably of Hydra, a majority of the time. But generally, I mean, the first 40 seconds of the beginning of this match really showcased what a team versus a group of guys who kind of recently formed with one another can be like. You talk about the ability to kind of get behind enemy lines, the ability to be at the flank, the doorstep quite a bit of the time. Hydra showed that, like I said, within the first minute of the game. 2 different scenarios where they are already in the back of the base, and JFFJ is turning back around, and they're like, okay, how did this guy get here? Who's not calling this out? Why are we not player counting? Do we have guys kind of pushing up through all 3 lanes? Like, that can really be the question a lot of the time when you have kind of a I want to say a thrown together roster, but a team who's not necessarily a solidified squad. You're not going to have those kind of solidified call-outs a lot of the time. So in CTF, it absolutely goes to show it a lot of the time. But if you're Hydra, right, you do escape out of this series. You do win this one 2-1, but you've got to be very wary of those search and destroys for this team, right? We see a very close hard point toward the latter parts of the game. JFFJ can't really hold on. Hydra kind of progresses themselves with a lot of teamwork. They hold down a lot of time on East Road as well as in Bunker as well. We talked about I think it was only JFFJ who had like 45 seconds combined between East Road and Bunker Hill, so it can obviously start to see a little bit of the maybe lack of setups, the lack of preparation, the ability to not really have a whole lot of those setups kind of set in stone as of yet.
Looking back when she was young,